when using VS Code Neovim extension, some default VS Code keyboard shortcuts don't work as expected. For example, keyboard shortcut Command D. Usually this keyboard shortcut is used to add selection to the next similar word. For example, if I'll press Command D several times while having my cursor at the word Vim, all next occurrences of this word will be highlighted. But just because we are currently in the normal mode of Vim, once we start editing, we can see only the first occurrence, and the selection was basically removed from all other occurrences, which is not the expected behavior. And the same goes with another keyboard shortcut, Command-Shift-L. By default, this keyboard shortcut in VS Code is used to select all similar words at once. So to make these keyboard shortcuts work properly when using normal mode of Vim, I'm going to add a couple of additional remaps. The first one will be active in 3 modes: normal mode, visual mode, as well as insert mode. Here we're going to redefine behavior for keyboard shortcut Command D. And anytime this keyboard shortcut will be pressed, we're going to run the following code. We're basically calling method addSelection to next find match on the cursor's object, which we're going to define soon. And the same goes with another keyboard shortcut. I'm going to copy this block, paste it one more time. In here, let's redefine keyboard shortcut Command-Shift-D, and this shortcut will be used to select previous similar word, which is basically an opposite keyboard shortcut to Command D, which selects next occurrence of the similar word. In this case, we have to reference method called addSelection to previous find match. And finally, let's add one more definition for Command-Shift-L keyboard shortcut. This keyboard shortcut is going to select all similar words at once. And for this, we're calling selectHighlights method, like so. Alright, but now the object cursors is not defined, so we're gonna have to create variable cursors right here and initialize it in the following way. We're basically requiring our plugin vscode-multi-cursor. But unfortunately, all these remaps are not going to work just yet. We have to add corresponding remaps into keybindings.json. Let's open up this file where all VS Code custom keyboard shortcuts are defined. And just because we're using VS Code Neovim extension, we need to forward all those keyboard shortcuts such as Command D or Command-Shift-D to Neovim, instead of letting VS Code handle those commands. And we are doing it in this way. So anytime we're going to press Command D, we're going to forward this keyboard shortcut to VS Code Neovim extension. Only when VS Code editing area is in focus and Neovim is initialized. And the same goes with other keyboard shortcuts. I'm basically going to duplicate this definition a couple more times. In the second case, we're doing this for the keyboard shortcut Command-Shift-D. And finally, we'll have to do the same for another shortcut, Command-Shift-L, to highlight all similar words at once. So now anytime we're going to press either of those keyboard shortcuts, VS Code is not going to handle them, but instead it is going to send those keyboard shortcuts to Neovim. And now let's try it out. As always, after modifying init.lua, we have to reload VS Code in order for changes to take effect. And if I'll try to press Command D several times, as we can see, the next occurrence of the word Vim receives selection. And then we can freely edit all these selections at once, instead of editing only first selection like before. So Command D now behaves as expected. Let's also try if Command-Shift-D also works. As you can see, it does. And finally, to select all occurrences of the word Vim at once, let's press Command-Shift-L, and it also worked. So we have properly synced these 3 keyboard shortcuts with Neovim. Let's continue in the next lesson. Link to the repository with all configuration files will be in the video description.